Arizona basketball, on Deandre Ayton's rise, close wins and minute trimming. Deandre Ayton has moved into the #1 spot in the mock NBA drafts of Sports Illustrated and Badraft.net, and it doesn't sound like you'd get much of an argument from our coach Sean Miller. "I don't want to hear anything about his motor or otherwise," Miller said of some views about Ayton's weaknesses. "They're almost fabricating or inventing things that aren't true. He is a special talent and we've seen it in a number of situations. When the game's on the line, he rises to the challenge. And defensively down the stretch he made 8 baskets." When Miller was asked Saturday what kind of statement he made after collecting 29 points and 18 rebounds in Arizona's 88-82 win over Alabama, here's what he said. "I don't know what statement he needs to make. I don't think he gets enough credit, and as I describe him, really smart on and off the court, highly intelligent. We ask him to play 2 positions. It's easy to take a 7-footer as a freshman to just make him the center. He guards the 4 and he guards the 5. That's double the work. He knows our playbook through 2 positions and he's getting better and better with it. He practices hard, he's responsible, he takes care of business, but his ability as a player in my mind is unmatched. I don't know how to describe what he's able to do, as he's so skilled and yet so big and athletic. Usually there's one or the other." To Alonzo Trier, who added 25 points on Saturday, Ayton is essential to what the Wildcats are doing. "We expect to go to him, and for him to do well," Trier said. "He just dominates the game on both ends of the floor and makes it easy for us. He's a weapon that pretty much nobody in the country has, so we have to make sure we take advantage of it pretty much at all times." Parker Jackson Cartwright and Trier did a lot of the defensive work against Alabama's Colin Sexton, and Miller reacted this way. "They competed and that's all you can really ask for. In basketball, too much is made of who's guarding who because the way Colin Sexton scores, it's against the team. The team has to rotate and provide help. All you want is effort and great concentration." Parker had 5 assists and no turnovers. He's over 3-1 in assist-turnover ratio, in the 4 years he's been with us. But as a senior point guard he has poise, he has been in so many games like this that I think we're comfortable with him. It's funny with Alonzo, the first half he was very quiet. Once past first 3 or 4 games, it's almost like you're waiting for the second half to get him going. I think it's up to us to kind of get him in the flow more often in the first half. But I don't think he forced it. He did to Alabama what Colin Sexton did to us. He had 4 turnovers, that's the thing that has plagued him early on, but I think he'll get better. Raul Elkins played 22 minutes in his first game back, which of course meant there were 22 fewer minutes to spread around the rest of the bench. Wasn't too difficult to find out where they disappeared from. Dylan Smith played just 1 minute, Keanu Pinder played 4, Alex Barcelo 2 and Emmanuel Akkad didn't play at all. Akkad has knee tendinitis, but Miller made it clear Saturday and in previous interviews that the soreness is not what's been keeping him off the floor lately. That effectively gave Miller a 7-man rotation, with spot help from Pinder as the 8th guy, but Miller said that isn't necessarily how it will play out in the future. "I told our team after the game that we don't have things worked out yet," Miller said. "You can't judge us on tonight's game, And maybe some of the guys who didn't play much or at all, that doesn't mean it'll be like that for the rest of the year. We have to continue to figure this out. There's a gift for us to be able to do that, but it's not as easy as everybody thinks it is to all of a sudden, 40-something practices in, playing game 10 okay, he's back, make it work. It takes a little bit of time. We went through that with Alonso last year, so those guys will settle in. They have to earn it in practice. It keeps things competitive because the guys who are going to play are the guys who are doing the job every day and are giving us the things we need to be the best team we can be. While Miller agreed that it will take communication and some consulting with players whose playing time gets trimmed, he also indicated players are just going to have to deal with it. There's a fine line, Miller said. This is the University of Arizona. Not everybody gets to start and play. And some of the greatest players who played in our program never played as a freshman or weren't nearly the player they became, but they fought and they earned what they got and they learned what they needed to get better. Sometimes at 19 years old, you're not as ready as you're gonna be at 20 or 21, so with a program like ours you want to keep these guys practicing and getting ready. We have a number of players a year from now that could be our leading scorer or one of our best players or a starter, and on this year's team maybe they don't play as much. But our focus has to be on winning and being the best team that we can be. And when nothing is given and you have to earn it, the cream will rise to the top. Sometimes a guy panics, or their support system panics, and they run. But very seldom does a guy who runs make it. But we're counting on everybody, and you can't judge just on today. I think it will even out over time. McCall Center wound up announcing a sellout Saturday, and the place was in mid-season form, louder than it has been so far this season. Miller said he appreciated it, especially after his team's 0-4 in the Bahamas. I'd like to thank our fans for showing up. They're the best, Miller said. They have not wavered one time. Especially the ones here at McCall who showed up, and have supported us through thick and thin. Believe me, that isn't the case, and certainly not the case at a lot of big programs like the one we have. That's a big thank you from everyone, the families of our players, and certainly our coaching staff and team. It's tough to come in here and beat us as a visiting team with our crowd and the electricity that we have in the building. Arizona has now won the past 3 games by an average of 4 points, and when asked about winning the close ones, Miller responded by saying how the Wildcats have recovered from the battle for Atlantis. The one thing I'll tell you is nobody panicked when we went to the Bahamas, Miller said. No one's used to losing 3 in a row. And it isn't like that was okay. But all of us knew there were a few things we were gonna get much better at. Part of it was we were young group. Teams good in that tournament have older, really good players. We have a few of those guys, but most of our upside is with our youth. We've gotten better since the Bahamas. Our guys had been lauded with praise, and then that all went away. It's a reminder of how quickly, when you don't win, people don't talk about you, or they don't talk about you in a positive light. Our practices have been better, and sometimes it's as simple as one of our best players hasn't played yet, and I think as Raul settles in, our team has a big upside.